It is also interesting to note that today, Shri M.J. Akbar, who briefed on behalf of the Bharatiya Janata Party, was once sitting on this very chair. And he has spoken on various issues, which we take cognizance and we would answer them point to point. The issue is, I'll start with the Hindi headline of this. कट राष्ट्रीयवाद और झूठे देशभक्तों का कहानी है ये. Today we saw the excerpts of Mr. A.S. Duletz's book. It has been extensively quoted in the media. Many truths have tumbled out, various skeletons, which needs DNA examination. I do not know how much to believe, but yes, there are various questions that emerge which this book has raised. Before going into the content of the book and the excerpts, I would like to begin by stating the directionless governance of this government. Prime Minister's mourn breath is still on. The digital era, according to him, has been established. But we at least expect an e-speech from him, clarifying the situation of this country. You have a situation emerging in London. Lalit Modi tweets, and the Lalit Raga continues. We in India are listening to this for the last perhaps 2 months, if I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong. There is no reply from the Prime Minister of India. Why is he silent? The Foreign Minister of this country ensures there's transit for a fugitive and a pagoda, as the Bharatiya Janata Party Member of Parliament terms him. A transit paper which allows him to travel from London to Lisbon, a fugitive. And this is over the head of the Foreign Ministry of this country, and I don't know whether the Prime Minister's office was aware of this. The fugitive was given a transit document to travel to Lisbon and back from Lisbon to London. What is the duty of a constitutionally appointed foreign minister? She should have ensured that this fugitive reports to the Indian authorities. No answers from the Prime Minister's office. The Finance Minister says there is nobody tainted. I don't know who he's referring to, whether it's the Bharatiya Janata Party or the world at large. Be what it may, the issue is the action was done. The silence from the Prime Minister's office. Then we have a situation emerging involving the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. She vouches for this fugitive and says this information must be kept away from Indian authorities. She was the leader of the opposition. No answers from the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's silence is deafening. You have an HRD minister whose qualification is suspect. Another education minister was dragged to the court. Level playing field is not there in this country because of education. A law minister of this country was dragged to jail. And here is the HRD minister talking about the education of this country, leading this directionless government. And there's deafening silence from the Prime Minister. Now moving on to other issues, there is a situation in Mumbai on Pankaja Munde, no answers. Rate contract given by the earlier government, scandalous as ever. no enquiry. The Chief Minister delays a flight and he threatens anybody talking about it, and then he will file defamation suit. The Home Minister, Minister of State, delays a flight and thankfully apologizes. The Prime Minister's office intervenes. VIP racism to the core. This is the government that we have been seeing for the last 1 year. Questions remain to be answered, and there's total silence. Now, I wouldn't like to go into a long stretch of a briefing, but certain issues I need to raise. On the hijacked flight 814, the Raw Chief says it's a goof-up. I saw a television anchor asking him and repeatedly asked him, are you calling it a goof-up? Yes, because there was no political leadership. There was no political direction. Sri Anjay challenges us and says, would you jeopardize the life of passengers? We are worried about the passengers, but there was records of the H&B operation. You could have done something. The Chief Minister of Punjab, the DGP, was scared to take action because there was no direction from the higher-ups. And the other alibi that's being given as an excuse is what? That the opposition was consulted. What kind of consultation was that? You presented your problem, views were presented, but you were the political leadership. If you take wrong decisions, and that was the foundation stone of terrorism, not just in India but in the world. The founders of terrorism were let loose by a soft government led by the Bharatiya Janata Party. I charge them. They talk about nationalism, they talk about being a hard state. But what is the beginning? What is the foundation that they have laid? They have created the basis of terrorism not only in India, but the world, by releasing those terrorists. I repeat, by releasing those terrorists. Those are the same terrorists who attacked Parliament. They were attacks, the Taj, and they were the same terrorists who were operating the world over, but we were soft. The other part of the story is an admission to a terrorist who sits in Pakistan, talks to IB officials, gets admission for his son in India. That is what I said. There is a state that is being compromised. When I repeat this word, cut Rashtravad or Jute Deshbhakt, they who talk about nationalism are compromising on nationalism. If this is their track record, the Honorable Prime Minister must speak. His silence will not be suffered by this country. On every occasion he spoke. He's an articulate person. He tweets. He speaks. And what have you? Silence. Not a word. There are the BJP spokesmen who are singing the Lalit Rag of Hindustani Carnatic music. And their defense is for Lalit Modi and not even for the Bharatiya Janata Party. And I rest my case on this issue.